Welcome into the Triple Threat Show, powered by Bwin. I'm your host, George the American. The uncle from America is what they call me on these parts of the globe. To my right, Mr. Hot Shot, Mr. Hot Head, Dennis the Menace, Aravantinos, DA. Of course, the star of the show. You know, I grew up with Snoop D-O double G, but now we got Shim D-O triple G.
Wow,
Chima
George is
Moneke,
crazy right now.
MVP candidate. But this time, we're going to do things a little different because we're innovators. You've seen star players. You've seen a great head coach in TTS last year. How about one of the best referees in the EuroLeague joining the Triple Threat Show? Thank you so much, Mehdi, for coming on the show, man. I'm so excited about this episode. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you so much for the compliment, and thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
For sure. Let's get straight into it. We don't want to take too much of your time, so I'm going to pass this ball to the star of the show, the MVP candidate, 6 in a row up there in Belgrade. Chima, go ahead, get us started, man.
Appreciate it. For sure. You know, this one is different because there's so many things that I actually genuinely don't know and want to know about the life of a referee. But let's start with the basics for you. When did you know you wanted to become a referee? Did you want to become a referee? How did it happen? All of that.
Wow. Everything happened by happenstance. You know, being a referee was never part of the plan. The plan for me when I was growing up was to be the MVP of the NBA Finals. You know, this is what I wanted to do. Actually, I fell in love with the game of basketball in '96 when the Bulls were playing against the Sonics in the finals. I woke up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to watch the games. I was hyped. I was super excited. And, you know, I just, I played when I was young, but I started at the age of 12 because before that I was playing soccer. But I unfortunately broke my wrists at the same time when I was playing basketball, you know, in a playground, and I was trying to dunk the basketball. I broke my wrists, and I played for like 5 years with broken wrists. And for some reason, you know, I decided to try officiating. You know, it was like a student job, you know, just to pay for my driver's license or things like that. And things went very, very fast for me. So I decided to keep going.
Wow.
Hey, I don't want to interrupt you. Shout out to the Bulls. Are you a Bulls fan? I'm a Bulls fan, so we can get this going right now.
I'm a huge Bulls fan.
Let's go.
I was lucky last year to meet Scottie Pippen. He was my favorite player when I was growing up. I met him in Berlin at the Final
Berlin,
Four.
right? 2024. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, he was cool.
That was awesome. Cool. Yeah, I was so happy to meet him.
It was cool when he told Denise, "I want whoever you want to win." that was a cool one. That was a cool one for sure.
Yeah, let's not talk about what happened that night.
Go ahead, D.
First of all, no, I gotta say both to Chima and Mehdi as well, because obviously we're doing this a little bit different here at the Triple Threat Show. Obviously, we got a superstar player every single week talking about the game of basketball. You know, he's been getting some backlash, but I think that it comes with the territory, and I feel like this podcast, this show is revolutionizing European basketball as well. And I feel like this episode in particular, to have a EuroLeague referee talk about the game of basketball is something that hasn't been seen in Europe. So thank you so much for being on the show. I just wanted to say that first.
Thank you.
My question is, because you mentioned that you were, you know, wanting to become a superstar in the NBA, wanting to follow a career in basketball. Does a EuroLeague referee have another job on the side, or is it just strictly basketball and refereeing EuroLeague games?
Some people do. Some people have decided to solely focus on officiating, and some people like myself have another job on the side. I am personally an English teacher. I've been teaching since 2007. And I am lucky now to teach at the university, which means it is easier for me to work around my schedule. So I can, you know, change and move the lessons much easier than, you know, if I was working in junior high school or high school. It would be a lot more complicated. But things are pretty easy for me right now. And I'm pretty lucky about it. I don't know if it's going to last, but so far, so good. But some people do work. And I don't want to step away from teaching. First of all, I love teaching, and you know I love teaching English, and I just don't feel comfortable if I have a life only based on officiating. You know, I just want to do something else on the side. I love the combination, and I think these two occupations are, they fit together. So I keep going.
First of all, I want to respond to that because your English is amazing. Like I know you're based in France, and I've known you for years because of that.
Thank you.
Do your kids, do your students know that you're also a basketball referee? How does that work?
Yeah, some of them know because they watch the game, but I never tell them that, I am a basketball referee. I referee in the EuroLeague or things like that. I never say anything. But sometimes they watch the games and they come to me and they say, "Excuse me, sir, you are a referee. I saw you last night on television.
You missed that call. Did they tell you missed a call? That's
that call.
The spicy stuff. Come on, man."
Yeah. Or they tell me, "Oh, but excuse me, sir, but last night you were in Istanbul, right?" Yes. Amazing. And now you are with us in the afternoon teaching us English.
Amazing.
Yes. Sometimes it happens that, when you come back, I got to go directly to school because I have a lesson and it's not always easy, but some students know about it.
Unbelievable. Wow. Unbelievable. All right, guys, let's get into, preparation and, the profession of the referee, because you got to be a master at what you do, no matter what it is. So I want to flex a little and talk about NBA refs and how they prepare for the game and how they have to study foul hunters like Trae Young and James Harden, those guys that, they had to change the rules. I got to ask you about the EuroLeague game. How does a EuroLeague official prepare for a game?
Actually, we've got a platform called 8x8 on which we have all the games. And all the games are evaluated. Every possession is evaluated by a referee coach, and sometimes two referee coaches. So, for example, when I know that I have to referee these specific teams, I'm going to watch their previous game. And I'm going to analyze, what they do offensively and defensively. I'm going to focus on screening, pushing and a rebound, hand checks, how they defend the basketball, especially with the safety. Do they try to take a charge? How do they do that? Do they position themselves, outside the semicircle? All these kind of things. And then you can create playlists that you can send to your colleagues prior to the game and say, "Look, we're going to have to pay attention to this particular player because he has the tendency to draw charges. So we need to be focused on his feet, and the lead referee needs to be in a good position to have the right angle to see if he's touching the line, not touching the line," all these kind of things. You also try to focus on specific players, shenanigans, like the way they shoot the basketball. Especially now the game is becoming more and more challenging because now in transition, we have a lot of fouls, okay? Because players they want to stop the fast break, but we understand that. But at the same time, now we see something more and more common with players, shooting the basketball immediately after receiving a foul. And you have to determine whether it's an active shooting or not an active shooting. And even sometimes with the frame by frame slow motion, it's not always easy to see. So just imagine that, just in the nick of time, you have to make a quick decision.
Absolutely.
So it's not easy. But yeah, this is how we prepare. We talk about, a lot of things. We talk about offensive and defensive strategies. We talk about demeanor, attitude of the players and coaches. And, but obviously when we get on court, we have an open mind and we don't try to say, "Hey, last week you made a bad screen in that position, so today it's going to be a bad screen game." No. Maybe today is going to be clean. So we don't have to call anything,
This is the perfect segue for me because, and obviously I want you to speak from experience. I want you to speak as honest as possible, but, coming into certain games, I feel like there are certain refs that have certain prejudice against certain players based on, things that have happened in the previous game that they refed me. Since it's me, I'll use myself as an example. And I see other guys complain. I see other guys do certain things, and then I see that I don't get the same leash, and then that's when it bothers me. I see that, there's an incident involving a few players arguing, and I'm the one that gets a certain thing because I'm expressive and all of these things. how do these discussions like happen before the game, and what are like things if, and this is the second question to that, if a referee makes a mistake, how is that addressed to you guys? When is that addressed? And like, I want to know about that side of it.
To answer the first question, it's very hard for me to answer that. I can only speak about myself. You know, I don't have any prejudice, or I don't bear grudges. Even if, you know, the previous game didn't go well, for example, I never tell myself, oh, today I'm going to be tough on him, whether it's a player or a coach. Absolutely not. My job is to go out there and be as flawless as possible, even though we know it's not going to happen, because at the end of the day, we are human beings and we go through our trials and tribulations and we make mistakes. But I don't know, to be honest with you, I don't know if some referees hold something against some other people and say, oh, today I'm going to take my revenge. I think this is very unprofessional. And I would be surprised if it were the case, to be honest with you. So, but you leave things your way. So I understand what you're going through. And it's not always easy for you. And sometimes I feel bad for players, because for some reason in one game, that player is going to have 3 or 4 fouls. And most of them are like, not so good. And then it's not easy because, you know, after 5 fouls, you foul out. So how am I supposed to play right now? Are you guys against me or what? I understand that. Sometimes the mistakes are focused on only one player. It happens, unfortunately. But it doesn't mean that we targeted somebody. Because if that were the case, you would stay at home, because, you know, the games are being evaluated. All the games are being watched. And to answer the second question, which is my segue as well, every game is evaluated. Every possession, every play is judged by a referee coach. Okay, we have a referee coach either in the arena with us or watching the game on TV. And after each and every game, we have a debrief with that person. And every 2 weeks, we have a meeting with all the referees from the EuroLeague and the office. And for an hour and a half, we're going to watch like maybe 20 clips. And then the boss is going to tell us, this is what you need to do. This was good. This was bad. You have to change this. You have to change that. Now, from now on, you're going to referee this play that particular way, because so far you have been inconsistent. It needs to change. So we try to make adjustments, you know, at least every 2 weeks. But every week we have a weekly playlist from the previous round, or rounds, if it were a double week. And we have like 20 clips or something like that. And we have some, you know, very clear messages from the office.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
How
amazing.
can
That's amazing.
Impressive, man. Hey, shout out to the league.
Yeah.
Shout out to the league, man, for getting it done.
Yeah.
Shout out to the league.
I just wanted to say the office is working really hard. There are a lot of great people with a lot of experience watching each and every game and giving us some feedback, whether it's positive or negative. But at the end of the day, they just want us to be better. You know, that's it.
Since we're talking about the actual game of basketball, from a referee's perspective, how do you define like a perfect game, quote unquote?
I don't think it exists, a perfect game, but because at some point we're going to make mistakes. You know, even though sometimes those mistakes are more or less, you know, important, and you just want to make sure that the mistakes you're going to make do not have an impact on the result. So, to sum it up, I would say the perfect game is when the better team won, you know, and let's say the referee's mistakes were not blatant, okay? And nobody's talking about officiating at the end, you know? Even sometimes they don't even remember that you were there. It's great, you know? But it doesn't happen very often. Let's be honest. Sometimes, you know, before the game, when we have a meeting with the captains, I always tell them, guys, honestly, if you guys play well, things will be easy for us to judge. So you're going to eliminate the number of mistakes. You know, we're going to limit that. But if the game is weird and there are, you know, some, you know, shenanigans from the players, you know, extending the leg or elbowing people in the face, and the defender is pushing the screener, and these things are making the game more complex. So obviously, we will have a lot of things to say about officiating because the game was not easy to officiate. So this is the perfect game, when the game is easy to officiate. And sometimes I tell the players, if I don't have to blow the whistle once, I'm the happiest man in the world. But if I have to do it, then I'm going to have to do it. This is my job. But I don't have to exist through the whistle.
I want to add, as a player, for us, the perfect game is when we don't even remember who the referees were for that game. That's the perfect way to put it, because there's certain missed calls that are like, okay, when we have the people on the TV, they watch it in slow motion after, they say, oh yeah, how'd you miss that call? I genuinely understand, like, it's difficult, but that's how me as a player, I would describe, oh yeah, I don't even remember who ref does that game. But whenever we remember the ref, it's because we remember something that we're still thinking about from whenever the last game was,
May I ask you something? Now,
for sure.
Imagine, the game is going down to the wire. You have the last second shot, and you get fouled at the last second, and the referee blows the whistle correctly. And maybe you will remember that guy because, oh, wow, he had the courage. He had the guts to make that call down the stretch. Or maybe you were playing away. It's like, oh, he called against the home team. Wow. He's got the guts. So you will probably remember him for that. But it doesn't mean it's negative. You know what I mean?
So I would remember him if he makes that call on the road.
Not at home.
At home, I would be like, okay, that's the call you're supposed to make. But making that call on the road, like, I understand referees, there's certain places you go in before the game has even started, they're whistling at you. So as a human being, you gotta deal with that. There's certain calls that you make, but because it's the right call, where you make that call is a different thing. Making that call on the road, even though it's the right call, is not the same as making it at home. And I'll remember that call being on the road for sure.
So I just want to follow up with a couple things that I have on my mind before we move on to the next segment. Number one, I've heard NBA players, I don't know who it was, that told Luka that you should know the officials by their names. You shouldn't just call them ref. Is that actually a thing? Or if a player knows you and is familiar with you, or he just calls you ref, it's the same thing? Or does the human aspect play a role in all that? And when in terms of respect and personal relationship, that's number one.
Yeah, we see that very, very often right now. People calling each other by their names, and but I don't take it the wrong way. If somebody comes up to me and says, "Hey, ref," if he doesn't know my name, he doesn't know my name. That's fine by me. I'm not supposed to be well known, so it doesn't bother me one bit. But we are supposed to call the players by their names, and sometimes even the coaches, So yeah, this is I think it's coming from America.
So we bring everything over here. It's what we do. I'm sorry. Chima, I'm trying to get you mad with the flexing, Chima. I'm doing it on purpose. My bad. But anyway, I don't want to interfere anymore. So let's move on to the mental aspect. So what's the mental side, of officiating that most people don't see?
Well, we have to focus on so many things during the game. You have no idea how many times I tell myself, wow, okay, on that particular play, which was like 10 seconds, I had to focus on the screener, on the clocks, okay, on the help defender. I had to focus on this, and that. I had to change position, make position adjustments, like maybe 5 times, And then when the shot was missed and the rebound was taken by the defense, I had to focus on the clocks again, because I want to know what's the time on the clock every time somebody takes possession of the clock, of the ball, sorry. And then it will be easier for me to make adjustments, because you don't want to go to the IRS for this. If you master the clocks, which is very difficult, but if you master the clocks, then it's easy to make a correction. So for example, we have a long distance shot, whatever, and Chima Moneke is going to take the rebound at 5:56. I have to remember 56, and I want to make sure that on the shot clock we have 24 because he's a defender. So now they have a new possession of 24 seconds. And then if something happens, I know that he got the rebound at 56. So it's easy for me to make a correction. Let's say, for example, because the shot clock didn't start and we have to stop the game. And we see now when I stop the clock, it's 4:52. It's only 4 seconds. So we're going to go with 20 on the shot clock. I don't have to go to the IRS for this, you know? But
thank you for that, because we don't want too many stoppages watching the game. We want it quick. So appreciate it as a fan, for sure.
No, we understand the game flow, and we don't want to stop the game either. But, you know, we can talk about this for ages, but now we have more and more coaches' challenges. So, you know, this is also one of the reasons why. But
they should get one. They should get one, and if they win it, they should get a second one. That's it.
No.
This is what the NBA does, right?
Yeah, they keep making
they
tweaks every year, try to make it better. I think they've done the 1+1. I think so. I'm not sure. Not 100%.
Okay. So actually, it's very tiring mentally. A game is more tiring mentally than physically, without a doubt.
The mental side of, you know, the pressure, the fans, after you blow, like, for example, like a controversial call or whatever, how does a referee deal with that? And have you personally, like, received any threats on social media or in person?
Well, it's not always easy, but we understand that, you know, sometimes people are mad at the ref, not the person, you know. But I can share something with you. I don't know if you remember 2 years ago in the playoffs, I officiated Olympiacos against Barcelona. And at the last second, there's a foul on Jabari Parker.
Yeah, we were there.
You were there, yeah. And I am the center, or the slot, as you say in the US, but we say the center. I'm the center official on the play. And I can see the right arm on the shooter on my side, okay? And I can see that the defender is holding the arm with the left hand and, you know, pretending to contest the shot with the right hand. So I blow the whistle, even though the game is tied and it's the last second. If there is a foul, you have to take that foul. You have to take that call. You have to make it, you know? And there was a lot of controversy because I heard many things. People say, oh, this is a 50-50 play. No, this is not a 50-50 play. He clearly holds his hand, especially the shooting arm. Come on, it doesn't make sense. You have to blow the whistle. Yes, but the game is tied, so you're not supposed to blow the whistle. You have to let them go to overtime and decide the game. You are deciding the game because you're making the shot. I said, no, I am doing my job. The one deciding the game is the player who made the foul. I'm just doing my job. I'm pretty sure if you ask Chima, you take the last shot, somebody hits you in the arm, and the referee tells you, I'm very sorry, the game is tied. Let's go to overtime. What?
Yeah.
What?
I've never believed in that. Even in football, because this foul is in the penalty box, it's not a foul. No, a foul is a foul wherever it happens or whenever it happens. I've always agreed with that.
Yeah. Sometimes you have what we call black and white situations, which are easy to call. But sometimes you have gray situations, which is like 50-50. Now I understand if we have a 50-50 play that you might want to, you know, hold the whistle and say, hold on. This is not big enough to make the call, or this is not clear enough in my mind. And we always say, if we're not sure, or if we don't see, we don't blow the whistle. So now I understand. But sometimes things are not, you know, 50-50 and people say, oh, you have to let them go to overtime. I say, no, this is... If this is the way I see officiating, I might as well stay at home, because nobody wants to have a referee who doesn't have the courage to blow the whistle, even at the last second. You know, we have to do it. You know, simple as that.
To be fair, that play was a foul, and even coach said it after the game. I think the complaints was about a 5-second inbounds. But to follow up on these questions, was there like something that saddened you that occurred afterwards, like a message or anything that happened in the arena or anything like that?
Yeah, I did receive plenty of messages on social media, on Instagram, and now I don't have Instagram anymore. I don't have Facebook anymore. If you see me on Facebook, it's not me. It's a fake account. If you see me on Instagram, it's not me either. You know, I don't have TikTok. I don't have social media anymore. After that particular play, I received a lot of threats, a lot of obnoxious messages from people telling me, okay, I'm not going to use profanity on the show, but they were telling me some very nasty things, and I was like, come on, guys, I'm just doing my job, I'm not against you, your club, your team, whatever. I just want to be as flawless as I can be, At the end of the day, who wins, who loses, to be honest with you, I don't really care. I just want to do a good job,
How much does this hurt a referee? How much did this hurt you, for example?
I think as a person, not as a referee, that it's saddening that it happens. Like you go back to Danny Green missing a shot in the playoffs, and he was receiving death threats. He was already a champion with the Lakers. He missed a shot, and he was receiving death threats on social media. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, it really affects us, but well, at the end of the day, we are human beings. We're just like everybody else. We have feelings, and it's not easy, but we also understand that it's part of the job, and it's pretty sad to see that some people would have that attitude. I mean, and sometimes, it can be parents, I have a 10-year-old child. I would never conduct myself that way, I mean, even if you don't have children, I mean, it's just crazy to see that in 2025, people are so, let's say, I mean, I don't know. It's just, it saddens me, but at the same time, we understand this is part of the business. So, if you can take the positive things, you gotta take the negative and just move forward.
Yeah, I completely agree. I have a question about, is there a call or a moment controversial that you were like, I wish I could go back and do that one again?
Yes, absolutely. I remember a play in the French league where I call an out of bounds in the last second, almost the last second, like, down the stretch, like in the last 20 seconds of the game. And eventually when I watched the game, it was the opposite. And I felt pretty bad because the game was tied, and you're like, oh my goodness, what did I do? You feel terrible for the team because, actually, your mistake had an impact on the outcome of the game, and this is absolutely what you try to avoid. So yeah, and even during the game, it can be the first quarter. You can make a call and realize, oh my God, what did I do? But this is part of the job also, and with the time, you try to reduce these situations because you don't want to repeat those mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the best part about being a EuroLeague referee? And maybe I know your answer, maybe you've already talked about it, but what's the worst part about being a referee as well?
The worst is that you are never at home. You always have a lot of people against you because nobody's going to be happy no matter what you do. If you make a call, somebody's going to be happy because it is in their favor, but the other team is not going to be happy because it's against them. So you're always on the go. So it's not always easy when you have a family life because, sometimes you don't see your children and you don't see your wife or, also I would say the lack of sleep, because after the game, first of all, it's very hard to sleep. You're still full of, adrenaline and everything. And sometimes you want to watch a few plays because you were not sure, or sometimes you watch the complete game, but I mean, right after the game, which is not correct because we should be watching the game the day after, when you're more cool and relaxed and everything. But so yeah, this is exhausting when you have to take the first flight and you only sleep 2 hours. It messes up your metabolism, your hormones and everything, and it's not easy. And sometimes the next day, you got to go to work and you got to be in shape, and then you got to go to the gym and you got to find the energy.
Don't tell me you're worried about being in shape. Come on now. I've seen you up close. If I'm a fan, I'm not talking shit to you. I'll tell you that much.
Well, thank you. I've lost 10 kg, but it's not the same. But I feel much better when I run right now. So it's better to be lighter.
Right.
And the best part?
The best part is that, well, first of all, you officiate the game you love. You officiate in unbelievable atmospheres. When you go to Belgrade, you go to Turkey, Istanbul, You go to Greece, you officiate in tremendous, arenas with great teams, great superstars, great coaches and everything. So this is great because you're part of the game as well, even though you try not to be too much involved. But you're part of the game. You travel a lot. You discover other cultures. I love to eat. So I love to discover new things. I love to eat specific things when I go to Greece, when I go to Turkey. I'm the happiest man in the world because I know I'm going to eat that particular thing. And obviously, you meet people from all over the world, your colleagues from all over Europe. And, we all have different culture, different language. And it's great that, English, binds us. And we are able to communicate with that language, which is awesome. I always tell my students, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, so work on your English. It can open a lot of doors. They don't want to listen to me, but I think being part of this tremendous organization is great. You don't know how long it's going to last, but it's great.
If we can move on to, the decision making that goes into the officiating, and I know Chima is going to like this call. As a fan of the game, obviously I love the EuroLeague because back in the day you used to let them play a little bit more. I'm talking about the officiating overall, that is. But my question is, when do you know if you're going to call, you and the crew is going to call a game tight, which is going to lead to a lot of foul calling, or if you're going to let them play? Is that determined in the first few minutes where you see the physicality of both teams? Is that determined, prior to the game? Is it determined by, the first few fouls, how much players and, coaches are officiating? When do you guys know how the game is going to be called? And I know Chima's going to love this one.
We never decide that before the game. Never. It is always determined by the way the players play the game. That's basically it. And we always have a motto, and we say the first 5 minutes will be extremely important. This is when, you give the right criteria to the people, but it depends on what the players do on the court. For example, if you have an illegal screen in the first 2 minutes and you don't call it, you're sending bad messages because the players can say, oh, tonight we can do whatever we want. And that's not what you want as a ref. But if you blow the whistle at that particular moment, because the player is clearly, moving on the screen and everything, then people will be like, oh, okay, these guys are taking care of this. So now we can focus on our game. Same thing if somebody gets pushed in a rebound or things like that. If you don't blow the whistle in the first minutes of the game, people will not trust you. And then you're losing some kind of credit and you're losing your credibility. And you don't want that to happen. So you want to have the right calls or the right decisions. Sometimes it's no calls. I always tell my partners, if we have to clean the game right from the beginning, because this is what the players are deciding, because they are, using their hands all over the place, because they are pushing in a rebound, because they are setting, bad screens and everything, let's clean the game. If we don't have to blow the whistle, don't stop the music. Let them play. Game flow is extremely important. You don't want to stop the game for nothing, just to show, hey, I will be here to blow the whistle. No, sometimes I remember some games, I didn't blow the whistle once in the first quarter. And my first foul was called in the second quarter at 2-something. Just imagine. To me, that's great.
That's a great day at work, huh?
A great day at work. And, not blowing the whistle is also officiating. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about making calls.
Since it's three of you guys, is it ever like a discussion, or I'm sure there is a discussion, but if one of you thinks, oh, I think he missed a call, do you talk to them then, or you talk to them at halftime, or you talk to them after the game?
It depends on the play, if it's important, and it depends on, the moment at which the play is developing. Because if we have a timeout right after this, then it's easy. We can talk it over, But, we have different areas of responsibility. And first things first, you want to give credit to the referee who is in charge of the play. Okay. And then if it's big and for some reason he doesn't make the proper decision, which is like he doesn't blow the whistle and there's a clear foul in the act of shooting, for example, you want to come and help because it's good for the game. Okay. And then we talk it over. Why didn't you blow the whistle? There's a clear foul on the shooter's arm and everything. Why didn't you? Well, I was straight line. There was this big player right in front of me. I didn't see. I was trying to make a position adjustment at the last second, but unfortunately, I couldn't see it. So we try to help each other, and we talk it over as soon as we can.
I like that.
I get pissed off when the baseline official doesn't see the clear foul and I see the guy on top and I'm like, come on, man, you don't see that? Like, I'm watching the game at SEF. It's right in front of me. I can see it, and you need the guy on top. Come on, man. Like, help your guy. Help your guy down there. Come on now. I just...
That's one of my favorite phrases. Help your guy, yo. Help him. Help him.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's easy for us to say, obviously, we're not the ones in control. But go ahead, D.
No, I wanted to ask you about the relationship with the players, because obviously you said that you know some of them. Obviously, you know them by name. The players themselves might know you guys by your name. What's a fine line, though, with having a relationship with these players, and what's a fine line within their players itself, and how they act on the court with swearing at each other, taunting at each other? Like, for example, Chima here, he always trash talks. When is that turning into a technical foul?
Wait, and when is the new Chima? The locked-in Chima? MVP Chima? Has he refed him yet? I don't know. Yeah, you haven't seen MVP Chima yet.
I didn't get the MVP, George. I didn't get the MVP, George.
Come on, Chima. Come on.
Yeah, and when, do the referees need to intervene and, give guys technical fouls and not, have them, fight on the court or trash talk each other? What's the fine line?
Well, it really depends on the situation. But as soon as you see, taunting, you have to stop it as soon as possible. You don't want this to happen in a game. And if it does happen, then you have to take care of business. Let me give you an example. I'm going to this game where there's a huge crowd, very noisy and everything, great atmosphere. And one of the local players makes a huge block. It's great. And then he's so hyped that he starts to, yell, and he's looking at the guy that he just blocked, for 1 second. And then his focus shifts to the crowd. And I'm like, good. This is not considered as taunting. But if he continues to look at the player and continues to shout at him, like, hey, this is in your face. You can't let this go. You can't let this go. I've seen a lot of comments about people talking about the NBA and say, oh, back in the 90s, it was tough. People could taunt and everything. And now people, the referees are overprotecting everybody. We have guidelines. We have guidelines from the office. We can't let that develop. Otherwise, I'm going to have to stay at home. I'm not going to be used in the games,
Right.
My boss tells me to do certain things. I have to do it, and yeah, but let's say you try to avoid in certain situations because you see a player start to talk, hey, please don't do this. Okay. Otherwise, I'm going to have to take care of business. You can't do that. You can't. But then if it's too much, it's too big, it's too visible, you have to act. If it's just one or two words exchanged between players, you want to step in and you want to tell them, come on, guys, just knock it off, because nothing positive is going to come out of it, But I'm not a police officer, but I just want to make sure we avoid the fights. I don't want any brawls in the game. Yeah. I don't want that. At some point, even though you want some, I understand fans want some. I understand, you see that in the NBA, like almost every game. I remember last season. And
these guys are soft. Stunned. Come on, Mehdi. These guys are soft. You watch the Bulls in '96. These guys are soft right now. Come on now.
Yeah, but
nobody wants to really fight. Like Russ, maybe, or PJ Washington, or some guys want to fight.
He's telling you there's guidelines. That's why.
Yeah, we can't let them do that. No way. Not in my watch. No.
But quick question right here. Does cachet matter? Because if I'm a rookie EuroLeague coach and I'm letting you have it, right? And then on the other side, you have Zeljko Obradovic or somebody legendary that you've known, you officiate hundreds of games. Is it the same if I'm cussing you out and if a legend is cussing you out, or how much of a leash is there? I understand for players that because they're within the lines that it's kind of different. So I'm not going to ask you about a player, but about a coach. Like if I'm a rook and then it's Obradovic on the other side, is it the same?
Well, we try to have both. I mean, we try to treat the people the same way. We try to have equal treatment, whether it's the players, the way they play, coaches, and well, obviously, we know that some coaches have a lot more experience than others. But at the end of the day, if you want to have that credit, if you want to have that credibility, you want to make sure that you treat people the same way. Otherwise, you're going to, people will not trust you. This is very easy to say. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's not always easy to do.
Exactly.
It's not, because we are humans, but this is what we tell each other before a game, before each and every game. We say, guys, both treatment. You cannot give a technical foul to this coach because he told you one thing that you didn't like. And the other one is doing exactly the same thing and you didn't do anything. Why? Are you scared? No, you cannot be scared. If you're scared, you got to stay at home. I'm sorry. But yeah, we try to have equal treatment. But
I feel like this one is tough. I feel like this one is, you try to, but with players and with coaches, there's certain things that Mike James will get away with that a guy that you've never seen before, a guy that just stepped into the game won't get away with. That's just normal. So I'm not worried about that. Go ahead, Jordan.
No. I agree with you. Like I understand it's tough to get a direct answer about this, and you obviously want to treat everybody the same. But if I'm a legend of any kind, like I'm not when I go to the club, when I go to the steakhouse, when I'm trying to get a taxi or anything I do in my life, I'm not getting the same treatment. Like, let's be real here. You know what I mean? Like if I'm a legend, I'm a legend. I'm getting greeted by everybody. Everybody wants to take a picture with me, yada, yada, yada. If I'm a rookie head coach and I'm like, come on, dog, you didn't see that? Tee me up right away. I'm not allowed to call you dog. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Like, I understand that I'm a rook.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And sometimes you don't understand specific attitudes from the coaches. I can give you some examples from the French league, but it's funny. I was talking to a coach last year in the playoffs, and I didn't like his attitude, and he already got a tee, and I was like, if I tee him up again, he's out. So I went to him very calmly, and I said, you know what? Even Zeljko Obradovic doesn't behave like this.
Ooh.
And I was professional. I wasn't using profanity or anything of that nature. I was just telling him, I don't understand why you're doing this, because you are barely known in this league. And sometimes we have the opportunity to referee great legends like Zeljko Obradovic, Itoudis, Sferopoulos. Sorry, I cannot cite everybody, but this is unbelievable. This is mind-blowing to see that some coaches who have no experience, most of them, sometimes, they come up to you and they talk to you in a bad way. And it's like, come on, last night I was in Belgrade. I was officiating Zeljko Obradovic. He was super polite, professional and everything. And you are behaving like this? Why? I don't get it. And it completely changes the dynamics with this coach. And now we have a much better relationship.
What about the player coaches like Saras? Saras used to talk to the refs non-stop from the beginning of the game till the final whistle. Spanoulis, the same. Now that they're coaches, are they like kind of different with their mentality and approach? They're like more respectful, like, that was a tough call, you missed it, or great call there, even if it's against them. Do you see anything different with those legends that are on the bench right now?
I would say that Spanoulis is pretty calm. I don't see, and I had a chance to officiate him only in the French league because I cannot referee French teams in the EuroLeague. But I have never seen him, have a disrespectful attitude or things like that, or being super, let's say active, on the bench. Sharas, I think Sharas has changed a little bit. He's now a little bit more calm, I would say. But both of them, they are very smart, and they understand that, they can use their persona to maybe get some stuff, to get some goals or whatever, to influence us. I don't know, but yeah, I think, but all of them are very, I mean, if we can just focus on these two that you mentioned, they are very respectful, and, they just want to win. We understand they are, they're still players. You can feel that. It's like they're super active because it's like, oh, I would love to be on the court. And
they want the ball. Yeah, they want the ball.
Defense. Yeah.
They've admitted that they want the ball.
Yeah. I remember one day, Sharas was stepping onto the floor a little bit too much. And my job is to tell him, please, Sharas, just, you got to remain in your box. And I told him once, and he said, okay, sorry, Mehdi, sorry. And then he did it again. And I came to him and I said, I can see you still want to play, huh? I mean, you want to play. You want to be on defense. That's why you're so active and you step on the floor. And he says, yeah, absolutely. I would love to show them how to do it, on the court. So I said, unfortunately, you can't do that. You know that. So, it's always fun to officiate these guys and to see them. And, I remember I was watching them when I was young, and, it's just, I feel blessed being in that position.
I got two questions, two different lanes. Number one, does the EuroLeague take care of your traveling and your hotel? And number two, do you pay attention to the EuroLeague as a referee? Like when you're not refereeing, do you watch the games? Do you have time for that? Do you care about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We have to stay, up to speed with what's happening. We have to know what's going on in the league, the results, the way the teams are playing, the standings, things like that. You want to know what's going on, and this is your job. So you have to know what's going on. And as far as the traveling situation is concerned, the EuroLeague is taking care of the hotels, of the hotel reservations. We're not doing it. But when you receive a nomination, for example, last night, I received a nomination for the end of November. I have to focus on the flights. Then we have a website on which we are going to, let's say, share our travel plan with the office and say, I'm going to take this flight. This is the flight number. I will arrive at that particular time and everything. This is the amount. This is the amount of for the tickets and everything. And then the office will tell you, okay, you can buy the tickets. Or no, wait, we have a better route, or this one is too expensive. You got to be careful. It doesn't happen very often, but it can. So you just want to make sure you have the authorization from the office. And then you buy the tickets yourself, and then you will get the money back a bit later. Yeah.
I better hope it's business class, man. Come on, man.
Unfortunately, we don't have business class.
Come on, Dayan. Come on, Dayan. Come on, man.
Well, sometimes you have to be smart.
But sometimes the players don't.
Chima, give me those emails. Chima, give me those emails.
I got you.
Give me those emails, man. Come on, man. These guys are away from their families every week.
Yeah,
get them emergency exit at least, something. I don't know, extra leg room. Come on, man.
Crazy.
We take that, because we have specific cards, fidelity cards, and so sometimes you can have access to emergency exit seats, or you can be upgraded to business. It can happen. Even sometimes business class tickets are cheaper than economy tickets, so it happens.
Come on, Dayan.
I want to go back to what George and Chima mentioned about the relationship with the players that you mentioned earlier. Is there, like a player that has come up to you and congratulated you on a call, even if it was against him? Because obviously we see that players and fans, obviously every single time they complain when a certain call is made, that's the one you mentioned earlier. So has there ever been like a player or a coach that has come up to you and said, Mehdi, that was the correct call, congrats, whatever?
Yes, it happens. Well, most of the time you hear negative things, but positive things sometimes can happen. I remember, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I was officiating a game in the French league, and I make a call, and it's not a very easy situation to judge. And the player comes up to me and shook my hand and said, "That's a great call." So I was like, oh, thank you very much. But yes, it happens. Even sometimes coaches can tell you, wow, I don't know how you saw that but I was tough. But yeah, you made the right decision. It happens.
Wow.
They do that because they want to get a call later.
Literally.
That's what they do. They're like, good call,
Yes,
good
sir.
call. Like Josh Hart pats him on the butt. He's like, yeah, good call, good call. Then he's like, hey, you missed me. I was driving. I got hit on the hand.
Yeah.
Maybe it might be a strategy. I don't know.
Is there a toughest player that, or a coach to manage on the court, if you can say? If not, it's 100% understandable.
Well, if I say some names, it might be held against me. So,
Okay.
but yeah, there are players or coaches who are, let's say, more challenging to deal with. Yeah, absolutely. And we know prior to the game, we talk about it. We say, oh, we have this player, we have this coach, we got to be careful. But at the same time, you want to send clear messages right from the beginning, as soon as possible. So, but yeah, some people are tougher than others to deal with, without a doubt.
We need to fix reviews. I asked Dayan. What are we doing to better the replays? He said they're working on it. They're trying to make it better, and obviously the NBA is adapting year to year. But we need to fix it. I think everything should be reviewable inside 2 minutes. I don't know what your take is on that.
Well, a lot of people complain about the fact that we have too many stoppages. We go to the IRS too much. As we mentioned before, coaches have 2 head coach challenges in the game. Only 1 in the last 2 minutes, but they have 2 challenges. So and they use it, very, very often. They use their challenges, and it's funny because people say, well, when I was watching the game and we had the replay, it was obvious that this player is the last one who touched the ball or things like that. Okay. But when we go to the monitor, the quality of the screen is not the same as the TV on which you're watching the game. We don't have exactly the same picture quality. It's not exactly the same thing. We have control of the cameras, which means we tell the IRS operator, give me the control. And then we're going to switch cameras. Okay, we have protocols. We know exactly what type of review it is. We know exactly where to stop. For example, if it's the last second shot, you want to have the second frame when the light is on. Okay, and then you want to see where the ball is. And sometimes it takes a lot of time to find the right angle to see clearly if you stay with the same call or if you have to change. Because if you change, the images must be clear and conclusive. So it takes a lot of time. I do understand that. And sometimes I'm in front of the monitor and I'm like, this is too long. But at the end of the day, I want the right decision.
It's called jump ball if it's taking too long. Anything that takes over 2 minutes is jump ball.
2 minutes is very long. Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's crazy.
That's way too much. And when I watch a game and I see long stoppages like this, I'm mad. I'm like, I don't want to watch it anymore. This is too long. So I do understand what people feel.
I mean, this should be like a 4-hour interview, honestly.
Yeah,
we got a lot to get to. In regards to what you just said about the replay, they've started this trend in the NFL where when something is clear and obvious, they go back to the replay center. So the NBA, they have it in New York Secaucus, New Jersey or whatever. The NFL, it's New York. So let's say it's something obvious, human mistake, out of bounds call. It's easy. You can just see it right away. You don't need to see 6 replays. Would you like to have like a eagle eye type of thing to make the easier calls faster? Like I understand a 50-50, like even in football, we see on-field review. They want the ref to see it and make the decision. But when stuff is easy, wouldn't you like somebody in the replay center to be like, yeah, just move on. It's a red ball or green ball, whatever.
Absolutely. We don't have a replay center. And it's funny you mentioned out of bounds because this is by far the most challenging situations to judge. Okay? You have to go frame by frame, and even frame by frame, sometimes it's not very clear and conclusive, But we don't have a replay center in the EuroLeague. So we are in contact with no one. we are watching the play. I mean, the crew chief has to go to the IRS with another referee. But the referee involved needs to be involved in the play. For example, if Chima is a referee, he's calling out of bounds, and we have a coach challenge, he needs to come with me to the monitor because he's the one who made the decision. Okay. We have pressure from the fans. We have people very close who, in some arenas, they insult you all the time. They shout at you. They want to influence your decision in the end. You have the replay sometimes at the Jumbotron up there. And you have to make the decision. And you feel sometimes a little bit stressed out that all this pressure is on you. And sometimes you try to create your own bubble and say, nothing affects me. But hey, we are human beings, So I would love to get a headphones or something like that. And
like they do in the NBA. Yeah.
Like they do in the NBA. I'm in touch with the replay center and they tell me, hey, ball for the green team.
Yeah.
Okay. Ball for the white team. Okay. Or this is a UF. This is an unsportsmanlike foul. This is not a normal foul.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine by me. Thank you very much. I upgrade. Boom.
The easy stuff. My question is, the easy stuff needs to be from the center, and then whatever is judgment, it's your call. Is it offensive foul, defensive foul, or shooting, or not in the act of shooting? Like, the guys calling the game should make those decisions, I feel like. I don't know. But the easy stuff, just speed up the game and help the guys call the game as well.
Yeah, I understand. We try to speed up the process, but it's not always easy.
So, but when and if you guys make a mistake, right? Let's say, because oftentimes we see coaches challenge the out of bounds just so the officials can see that it was a foul. So it's like a tactic, quote unquote, that the coaches have to highlight the mistake that's been made in the officiating. So let's just say there's a mistake that has been made, and you have to, move on. The game moves on. It's been a mistake. There's going to be plenty more, or two or three more, or whatever. At the same time, two wrongs don't make a right. Can you walk us through what occurs after that? Like, do you guys try to make it even? Do you just say, okay, that's a mistake, let's move on? What goes on there?
There's no such thing as compensation. As we hear very often, they're trying to compensate for what happened before. No, absolutely not. I'm just trying to have the right decisions. That's it. And let me give you an example of an out-of-bounds situation. I remember, I think it happened 2 years ago. I'm the lead official. I'm behind the basket. And there's an out-of-bounds situation. And the defender touches the hand. I mean, he touches the wrists of the player with the ball, And I decide to give the ball to the player who was actually, let's say, fouled.
Okay.
It was a small contact, but enough to make the player lose the ball. So I blow the whistle and I indicate the direction. And the coach says, I want a challenge on this out of bounds. So you go to the monitor, you see the foul, but you also see the fact that this player who was fouled is the one who touched the ball. The last one. He's the last one to touch the ball. Mm-hmm. So you cannot say, it was a foul, I called a foul. You cannot do that.
Yeah.
This is not allowed.
Yeah.
So you have to, and I went to the player and I said, I'm very sorry. I should have called a foul.
It was off you, so it's going the other way.
Yeah. Yes. And then the problem is, you're watching the game, you're watching this particular play, and everybody can see it, and everybody can see that there was a foul that you didn't call. And that you're in front of the monitor and you're like, oh my goodness, there's nothing I can change now. I wish we had the opportunity to say, there was a foul, so we have to call the foul. But I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But
I think in the next 5 years, give it 5 years, tops,
maybe
20, 30.
Maybe. But sometimes it's embarrassing. Let's be honest.
How would you describe the level of officiating right now in the EuroLeague?
Wow. That's very hard for me to say because, I've been in the league. This is my 9th season. And, I don't know. I can only tell you what I've heard, but I think we are becoming, let's say, more and more professional, first of all, thanks to the office and everything around it, the way we are evaluated and everything. So we are becoming more and more professional. obviously we still make mistakes because this is a human. This is a human, first of all, and the job is very challenging. Yeah. But I think I don't think I'm the right person to answer that question. But if I say, "Oh, we are great," people will criticize me without a doubt. If I say we suck, and I would be criticized anyway. So. But I think we have some moments during the season during which we can be, at the high level. We have a high level officiating, and sometimes during the season we're going to go down. And I think this is like teams and players and coaches. We go through our ups and downs. But
for sure,
yeah, this is part of the job. But I think we are becoming more and more professional, and I like what we are going through right now. Really.
I wanna give you a hypothetical. Let's say there's a EuroLeague final tomorrow night. Which 3 referees would you choose to officiate the game? Right now?
That's a tough one. Please, if the guys are watching this, don't take it the wrong way. I have to make a decision.
Yeah.
I would go with Ilya Belosevic. I would go with Sasha Pukel. And I would go with Damir Yavor.
See, I don't even.
So
I don't know names.
You wouldn't put yourself there.
No, man, come on.
No, I wouldn't put myself there.
I can come up with a better trio. I can come up with.
Wait, hold on. You guys know all these refs by those names?
Yes.
I only recognize Ilya from the 3 you just said. I would need to Google them to know their faces. That's impressive.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for you, Chima, though.
I just remember faces. To me, it's like we're not friends, so like I don't really need to know your name. I'm just gonna remember your face and how you treated me in the last game or how I feel about you overall. But Ilya, I know Ilya for some reason. I know his.
I'm not mad at that. I would go Lodermoser. I would go Mehdi, and probably Peruga.
Okay. Thank you very much.
That's a good one. You like that one? I'm not mad. I'm not mad, but I think that's a good one. That's a good one.
Okay.
George knows his refs. Chima.
I know. Yeah, man. I know the refs in the NBA.
NBA.
Scott Foster.
Wow.
You've seen the memes on Scott Foster.
No, for sure.
Yeah, the refs that we know in the NBA is not for a good thing, bro. I promise you.
Gucci Mane. Hey, man. Gucci Mane is cool. He's bringing the culture. He's bringing the referee culture closer to the fans, closer to the players. Gucci Mane's fun.
This was one of my favorite episodes, Mehdi. Genuinely, we could have continued for hours.
Yeah.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being on the show. It was hard to get your number, like you said. You aren't on social media. I had to use my card to get your number. So it was worth it. It was worth it for sure. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, guys. That was great to talk to you guys.
We appreciate your time. Sure. I just hope we had another couple hours to
No, for sure. I think that you have to be back sometimes to give your
one more time.
To give your insights. To give your insights. Like when the games are gonna be more, extreme and everybody's gonna come, playoff time, whatever the case may be. Because I feel like it's really interesting to hear referee side of things, and the fans don't necessarily know, what's going on in their lives, in their daily lives. As you mentioned, you're a school teacher. Nobody, I'm assuming.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. So that's gonna be really, really interesting, and the things that you said are very insightful. So thank you so much, and thank you to Chima for making it happen.
Chima, thanks for making it happen, 100%. Man. This was amazing, bro. I don't remember the last time I was so excited.
Thank you so much,
Maybe the
guys.
first episode. Maybe the first since episode 1. Appreciate it,
Wow.
Mehdi. Good luck. Good luck
so
out
much.
there.
Thank you so much.
And I hope you can make it back on the show one more time. TJ Shorts and Mike James did it. You can do it too. We appreciate it.
Let's make it happen. Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir.
Thanks a lot for having me, guys.
Have a great one.
Take good
Thank
care
you
of
very
yourselves. You too. Have a good one.
That was fire. Shout out to Chima. Thank you for making this happen.
Wow.
Shout out to Bwin, for supporting this project, pioneering project since day one. What a privilege, guys. What a privilege we had to be able to sit with a top referee. I don't know what's next. We got to get Dayon on the show. We got to get Bodhi Roga, or I don't know who else we got to get on the show, man, to up this. But real quick, just a few more minutes of your time. Make sure to like and subscribe. Smash that like button. Let's talk about Zvezda. You guys 6-0. You're getting it done. Forget the respect me as a man and all that, man. You are extra locked in right now.
First of all, I'm super mad at Chima for making headlines and not being on the triple threat show. Like, that's even ridiculous. Like, I read online that he wants to play his rest of, the career in Belgrade, and I read that online and and he didn't say that on the show. Like, what?
You guys didn't.
What are we even doing?
You guys didn't ask me. All you did.
No,
was
we're not interviewing you.
me.
We're not interviewing you, Chima. That's not the thing we do here.
To say it? I'm just
no, you gotta say it. You gotta say it by yourself, bro.
Stop it, man. They asked me the question, I responded. But honestly, no, 6 in a row, it feels great. We have an identity. I just think that's the most important thing. We have an identity going into each game, and we've played at home, and the fans have been incredible, and it's not easy to come play here. I experienced that being a member of Baskonia, and now I get it. Like I get it. So the fans have been great. Yeah, that's how I feel. I want to be here for a long, long time. So everything's great right now.
I don't know what to say. Just keep doing what you're doing. Obviously, you guys are playing really hard. The injuries haven't seemed to affected you. Diving for loose balls and just scrapping and fighting your way to victory. So I'm really proud of you, man. Just keep going at it and just stay locked in. That's all I got to say.
Will do. Are you fully on board? Because you said we needed to win those 3 gimme games.
Then I said, what did I say? I say you got to take. I said I'll drive it. So I applied for international driver's license because I have an American one and then the EU one.
Right.
I don't know if I can use it up there, but now I'm applying for it, and then I will drive the bandwagon now because you got the job done.
Good.
In those quote unquote gimme games. So we don't want to take too much more of your time.
My only concern is going to be when the injuries come back, when the players who are injured come back. I'm not saying it as a negative thing. Obviously, it's huge to have like players injured coming back, stars of the EuroLeague coming back to the team. But it's going to be interesting to see how they fit in with the players who are balling right now. Because, for example, Cody Miller-McIntyre is doing an extremely exceptional job at what he does, and this double week he was amazing. It's going to be interesting to see how both the injuries come out to play and the Jared Butler signing. So that's going to be interesting for me. And as I mentioned in the last show, it's going to be interesting to see what you guys do in the next 3 games. The next 3 games for me are key because they are with better and more experienced teams. That's my only thing.
There's always going to be an asterisk, Chima. Remember we talked about it.
No. I'm keeping him humble. That's the thing.
You don't need to do that because we're not given anything. We weren't given MVP of the month. We weren't given.
That's fine. Your buddy. That's your buddy that got it, man. It's your buddy.
No, I'm just saying we're not considered. We're not in the top of the power rankings. It's kind of like, oh, they're winning games, but so that's
yeah.
It's better for us like that.
For sure.
We don't want people to jump on the bandwagon, honestly, because it's game to game and people's opinions are very fickle. It changes very fast. So I love where we're at. I love the narrative that's, whatever the narrative is, keep it that way. We're not going to change how we believe in ourselves based on other people believing in us more. So we have a job to do every single game and we're going to go out and do it.
Let's see if you've made our MVP ladder, Chima. Let's see if... somebody, okay. I can't really see our new MVP ladder that well. Shout out to our graphic designer.
What the heck is this? All right. I'm actually walking off now.
All right, I can't really see right now. So y'all have Noora number 1? Y'all have Noora number 1, right?
Yes.
I got Mike number 1.
What?
Yeah. Yes, sir. The eye test, Chima. The eye test. Mike James. Mike James. No.
He's leaving because I didn't have him in the top 5.
What? Oh my God. He just dipped. Sorry about that. I don't know if he was pissed, but he really needed to go. He really needed to go. He had clarified that.
Did he or did
I don't
he
know
not?
if he was pissed at me having Mike James or you not having him in the top 5. But go ahead.
I can defend my list.
Fine,
I can defend my list. I can defend your list. I can defend anybody's list. So George, you have Mike James, Sylvain Francisco, Jordan Nwora, Sasha Vezenkov, and Chima Moneke.
You hate that list?
No. That's a good list in my eyes because obviously you went ahead and congratulated Mike James, the fact that he won against Panathinaikos and Olympiacos. That's the case.
And the insights of him telling us about his back, how for 2 years he couldn't practice in the summer. He looks really healthy right now.
No, for sure. He's balling out. Chima goes with Jordan Nwora, Sylvain Francisco, Τσίμα Μονέκε at number 3, Sasha Vezenkov and Mike James. And I got Jordan Nwora, Sylvain Francisco, Mike James, Sasha Vezenkov, and Vasilije Micic. The reason I don't have you on Mr. Τσίμα Μονέκε is because even though you are tied for number 1 place, Jordan Nwora is the MVP in my eyes right now. Obviously, he was injured the last few rounds, and I cannot have 2 players from the same team in the top 5 after 8 rounds of the EuroLeague.
Also,
so that's why.
What'd you tell me that you liked that I said, D? You said about Pana? When I talked about Pana, I said, who have they beat, bro?
No, who have they beat for sure?
Who have they beat, bro?
No, they've beaten some.
They've beat some
good teams. But the fact that I had Micic on is because Hapoel is at.
You need one.
Hapoel is at 6-2. So the reason that they are at 6-2, it means a lot for me. So that's my list. That's the top 5. Chima, if
Let
they
us
end
know
up
in the comments below if it was warranted for Mr. Moneke
or who do you agree with most?
The most, yeah, absolutely. And let's go to upset. Let's go to upset to wrap this show up. What a show, man!
Yeah.
We have the walk off. We have a star rep on the show.
The walk off was ridiculous.
But he needed to go.
No, I'm gonna call him after because that's ridiculous.
To be fair,
Paris against Bayern.
You like that? No,
I don't know. It's 50-50 in my eyes. Chima is going with Milan to upset Efes, and I'm going with Maccabi to upset Monaco. I'm not really liking those, but I'm the way that you were last week, George. That's my thing.
We're gonna miss all of them.
Last week, what happened?
I don't think we hit any of those. We didn't hit any of those.
I was close for the first half in Partizan, but
yeah. Either way, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. We just try to get better.
Button.
We just try to get better. You know, we brought you all the MVPs last year, and you know, we set the bar pretty high. We got some more surprises on the way. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you all next week. Shout out to Bwin.
Peace.